Welcome to the World Football Summit podcast, the show for football industry leaders who want to stay ahead of the game. We bring you the latest insights, trends, and stories from the experts driving innovation and progress in sports business worldwide. Join us as we dive deep into the ideas and initiatives transforming the world of football. From sustainability and innovation to player development, fan engagement, and everything in between. Our goal is to unite the global football industry and drive positive change and progress. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I'm your host, Jaime, CMO at World Football Summit. Today, you're invited to a masterclass on entrepreneurship and creating a digital sports publisher. Steve Calzada, co-founder and creative director at Post United, is our guest on the show this week. Post United is the #1 football digital publisher in Spain, and they are taking the concept of providing information and entertainment around football to another level. The business was founded in 2019, and since then, they have had spectacular levels of growth, even challenging the follower metrics of the traditional sports media outlets in Spain. Steve and I talk about the sports content landscape, the value of involving creators in the business, similar to what Kings League has done, competing in such a fierce industry, and much more. You know who didn't miss it? My cup of Juan Valdez, which is 100% premium Colombian coffee. Now, I admit, I'm very picky when it comes to coffee, and I must say, Juan Valdez definitely hits the bar. But this cup of coffee is much more than that. It is a premium blend developed by female coffee makers, and Juan Valdez has this program in which they look to empower these women both economically and socially. This resonates very much with the Female Leadership in Football initiative we have launched at World Football Summit a few months back. So I'm excited to partner with them to offer this premium blend to you. You can order it online at es.juanvaldez.com. Again, that's es.juanvaldez.com. And they actually have a special discount for the World Football Summit podcast listeners. All you need to do is enter the code WFS podcast at checkout. That's WFS in capital letters podcast altogether at checkout. And they deliver to all markets in Europe. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast on your platform of choice and share it with your industry colleagues. You can also subscribe to our newsletter, where every week we send updates, trends, and everything that goes on at our events. By the way, we've launched ticketing for WFS Asia in Saudi Arabia. On the 12th and 13th of December, we will be in Jeddah, so we invite you to join us. You can find the link in the show notes. Now, enjoy this conversation with Steve Calzada from Post United. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us on the World Football Summit podcast.
Thanks for having me.
This is a first for me, I must say, because I've been interested in having a digital publisher like yourself, and I think I couldn't have asked for a better one at this point. So, but before going into the conversation, can you briefly introduce yourself? And I guess more importantly, I always like to ask my guest, why is it that you do what you do?
Just to introduce myself, I am one of the founders of Post United, actually the digital publisher #1 in Spain. And I started creating content on social media since 7 or 8 years almost. And since now that I've started recently the project called Post United, I've always been involved in social media, marketing, and all these things, always related to football, of course. And thanks to this and the learnings I had from my father, that he always worked on marketing, on football. So this made me do these things of football, but in social media.
And for those that don't know, because you never know, can you talk to us a little bit about Post United, what it is, and just introduce the brand?
Sure. Post United right now is a digital publisher. For the ones who doesn't know what a digital publisher is, we explain it like a mix between the influencers and the traditional media. So when we created Post United, we saw that there was a space here in Spain to make something different, and we saw that the new generations like to inform of football, but in a different way. I mean, they didn't search in newspapers, they didn't read, they only watched videos and content on the social medias. So what we also saw was that they follow a lot influencers, and they wanted to have more and more and more content on their prefer on their best social media for them. So what we decided is to make this mix that was a traditional media, but with the language of influencers, of people related to this social media, to have the connection and this relation with the follower that since now it was very very difficult, because the traditional media tried to do this next step to be in the social media, but it was very difficult for them to connect to these new generations, because the more old generation, they are not that used to social media, and new generations were like super used, and they were looking for something for like a traditional media publisher that understands them, and it was very difficult for the traditional media to make this next step. Some of them have been able to to make this change, but luckily we created Post United, and we could fill this space in the digital publishers.
And that is actually why I wanted to talk to you, because your business model it sounds fun, but it's also unique, meaning you guys created a category in a sense, right? You came from traditional media and you evolved, but you evolved it in a way that you incorporated, as we're going to talk about now, the role of the influencer to kind of engage with that younger audience, but also with the fan that actually wants traditional news, right? So you're actually mixing both segments, which is very interesting. And Steve, you launched this in 2019.
Yes.
Other than what you just mentioned, what was what changed? What was the trigger that you said, I have to do this? Why did you decide I have to launch this?
That's a nice story. The beginning from Post United, because when I used to do content for social media for myself, I mean, I had my own YouTube channel and my own content. I saw that, there are some influencers that people watch them only because they are how they are. I mean, they don't care if they post a video of a goal, or if they do a video dancing. They just follow this person. So when I was making content, I kind of guessed that my followers weren't watching me as an influencer. They were watching me because I was giving them the news about FC Barcelona. And there was a thing that I saw, because I was very different between others influencers, because others influencers had the privilege, I would say, to post a video one day and maybe wait 4 days and post another video. But I saw that, because I had different followers, they always wanted me to post videos every day, because they wanted to know everything about FC Barcelona. And it was like, if Steve haven't posted a video today about Barca, is that it didn't happen something on Barca, or it happened, and what happened to Steve that he didn't post that video. So I saw, honestly, I guess that being young and going parties and all this stuff, because I saw that one day I go party and the next day I'm with a crazy headache, and people started texting me like, "Hey, there's no video. Where's the video? Where's the video?" And I tried to do a daily content with 2 videos per day about FC Barcelona, but I saw that this was impossible for one person. I mean, this rhythm of content was not possible. So I always thought what if these people that are demanding that much content, they had an account managed by influencers or by known persons, and they had this content every day, constantly, and on their social media preferred platforms. So I had this idea. I spoke this with my father, with Esteban, and he said, "Wow, this sounds cool, but right now I don't see it." Because at that time there were many pages like 433 and BR Football, but in Spain there was no page like this. There was only the traditional media like Marca, Mundo Deportivo, Sport, but there was no page that had that relation with the follower from Instagram, from YouTube, and those social media. And I think it was 1 year or 2 years later, we talked, and he told me, "Wow, we have to do this now." So we decided to start the project. We spoke with DJ Mario. For the ones who don't know him, right now he's the number one influencer in football in Spain. And we talked with him. We explained him the idea and proposed him to enter in the project as a as a partner, and he said yes since the beginning. So he helped us a lot in the beginnings to connect with this audience and to make the numbers reach, because it's very difficult. And for us, one of the challenge was to reach new followers in the organic way, not paid. So this helped a lot.
We're going to talk about that. But I was just thinking when you were talking about the beginning of the business. I don't know if you've read it, but there's a famous essay called 1002 Fans by Kevin Kelly. And in a way, it kind of reminded me of that. No, you started posting content that the people around you really loved. And this is also something that Seth Godin also talks about, no? That you get that text message that you're mentioning. Hey, where's your content? What happened? What's up? It's when you get that connection with the people that read you.
They don't care if you have something familiar. If I'm putting in a extreme situation, but if your grandmother died, but you haven't posted a video, they say, "I don't care. I mean, I want my video." So it's like they don't care. They want their content. So if you have problems, if you have whatever, no.
Exactly. No. You're not a person anymore. You're our content source. You're our content robot. We want you there. No,
You are their content source. So my big accomplishment here, I think it was to to know where I am, because another influencer, another content creator could have think they like me, they want my videos, and I'm the best, and that's it. But I guessed very fast that they didn't like me. They liked the information I gave them. So normally, traditional media and other publishers tend to thought, well, the new generations, the young generations, they don't have interest about football. So if they are not reading newspaper, is that they don't have interest? Of course they have. The thing is that they don't like the way of consuming from traditional media, because it's very different, and the treatment with the follower is very different.
Not only that, that actually makes me think of a report that La Liga published last year. And basically, they were saying interest in football is probably at an all-time high. The difference is that now you have so many, call it channels and ways to consume sport. So you have your live match, you have your social media, but then you also have your documentaries, your movies, your fantasy games. So the video games. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just so many different forms of and channels that it seems that people are not interested in the game anymore, and that's not true. It's just different.
No, and that's the thing, that there are so many ways to consume the content. I mean, you have to find. It's very difficult, because in the past, traditional media, they knew that they had their space, and nobody would take them out. It was very difficult because in the past it was like, or you read, if you're in Barcelona, or you read Sport or El Mundo Deportivo, but there's no other sports newspaper. And in Madrid, of you read, or you read Marca, or you read Enas. So it was like, there was no choice for you. But now, when you get in the social medias, you can find so many accounts. It's very difficult um, to be so important for the fan that he doesn't follow another account. That's why it's important to make the content very cool and to connect with this audience. Because if you don't find this way, I mean, they will go and find another content, and that was my problem when I was creating content for myself. Because I saw that if I don't share content tomorrow, if they see that there's a big news and an important news about FC Barcelona and I didn't cover that, they will say, okay, I will go and follow another channel that tells me this news that Steve didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So that's a difficult thing to know.
And I think that's where the traditional media model got disrupted, because before you had limited options. And in terms of the content that you want to consume, as you said before, for example, in Madrid, if you want sport news, mainly it was Marca or As. Okay, it's one or the other. But now, and this actually is going to tie well with my next question, content is not only, it's global now. You can access the content you want from wherever you want and in any country you want. In my case, I consume a lot of American content now.
Exactly.
So given that, or taking that into account, that it's a very competitive industry, what do you think makes Post United unique? I mean, why are you just not, if you will let me, quote unquote, another digital publisher?
Well, the thing that made us different, the good point is that we didn't have a digital publisher like us when we created, because there were only the traditional media. So for us, it was very easy to start this project and this idea, because we didn't have competitors. I mean, there were memes account, but with the focus that we wanted to give, there weren't digital publishers. So the thing that we made different is that in some way the new generations felt like insulted by the traditional media, because even if you are a Barca fan, when Barca loses, you don't want to read that this match was a thief or whatever, or was a robbery. No, you want to listen the reality that Barca lost, and that's it. And they've lost, and they've lost because they played bad. And this treatment that the traditional media used to give to the readers, it was like, no, Barca lost because the referee was super bad. And if there's no something super extreme that they play extremely bad, they don't have this focus. Or the old things that they were able to invent new signings. I mean, and the thing is that there wasn't Twitter, there wasn't social media, and nobody could check about this. I mean, if you saw that in Mundo Deportivo that Barca wanted to sign David Silva, you had to believe it, because Mundo Deportivo was the only way of information about football that you had. So what we gave to the followers that we wanted to have was this trust that we don't care about teams, we just give information about football. Of course, being constant, we are always super constant since the beginning. We are sharing more than 8 posts on Instagram, more than 2 videos per day on YouTube. So this kind of content that we were offering, nobody was offering when we started the project. And the other media that were offering that, they were offering it the way that the user wanted to see it. So the user wants something super visual. I mean, normally people tend to think like this new is not interesting, or this that happened nobody would care about that. But no, it's the way that you tell that. It's not the same to say that Real Madrid or Jude Bellingham scored 5 goals in 5 games. It's not the same this than comparing it to that Jude Bellingham scored 5 goals in 5 games and Chelsea have scored 1 goal in 5 games, maybe. So it's the way and the focus that you put on that. It's not only the new; it's comparing it to other things, or that Haaland. I mean, now I'm being super cruel with Chelsea, but because it's a good moment there. But when Haaland scored 44 goals since I don't know exactly when it was in this year, I think it was, and Chelsea have scored like 42. So the new is not that Haaland have scored 43 goals. It's just that Haaland scored more goals than Chelsea in this year. So this way of giving the content to the followers, this connection and this way of being from all the clubs, we always have the focus on Spain clubs. We always support Spanish clubs and the Spanish national team. So this way of making content, I think that made us have this connection with the followers, and of course, it helped us a lot walking by the hand of DJ Mario. That when you see a new media publisher, digital publisher, you always tend to think maybe this digital publisher it's from the same that created Marca. So this generates to the new generations like, I don't want this. Is the same from always. But the thing that it was a digital publisher created by one of the number one influencer in football. So I think that this gave us the trust to the new generations, and of course the followers that we have now.
I'm just thinking with your answer, I wish I would have been born 20 years after, because I was that little kid that always had, a sport newspaper in his hand, reading every single story. And then I thought, just as what you were saying is, man, these guys, they could be more objective, which at the end of the day is what you're selling, objectivity. You can support whatever club you want, but the reality is what happened. The team played bad, whoever got injured, whatever. But it's not always the same excuses, if you will, of why a team performed.
No, and in this way, uh, people tend to think that people doesn't care about some stories or whatever. People love stories. I mean, on our Instagram, we saw that there are some posts that are stories about clubs, maybe that nobody knows, but just to know a new story or something that you didn't know. This, for example, last day we shared the story of Savio, the new star from Girona, and he was a farmer, and from farmer now he's playing in La Liga. So these kind of stories that people tend to think nobody would care about that has like 60K likes. So 60K people care about that, and young people like these stories and new generations. So this mix makes that more traditional media followers, for example, also will like to read that, and the new generations will also like to read that.
I think, to your point, fans want to get as close to the game as possible and to understand who's actually playing that game. So, for example, those behind the scenes, call it if you will, those type of content, that's always going to be popular, because that's the reality of the match. It's just not 11. There's more than, the 11 guys playing against the other 11 guys. No, there's a story behind that person, and that storytelling piece. I mean, at the end of the day, we're humans. We've always been interested in stories, and we're going to be interested in the stories of our lives at the end of the day. Right?
Yes, look at how players leave stadiums being clapped by many different crowds. For example, when Borja Iglesias decided to not playing for the national team, and he was clapped by whole San Mamés. So this is not for nothing. This is for because people like the players more than.
Yeah, and that's very interesting, and I hope the audience really learns from that and the key lessons that what really takes to engage the younger fan. But Steve, I want to ask you because at the end of the day, you're a business. You're not just creating content. So I don't want to go into numbers. I don't want to go into financial metrics. But I don't know if you can identify or help us identify the key levers of the business model that you guys have.
Well, our business model right now is with the money that we get from the social media platforms for creating content that they pay you depending on the views that you have on your content, and then we have the branded content strategy that we started impulsing this a lot this season, that it's getting as much brands as we can, because that's the thing that I was telling you, the changing of consuming the content. A whole years ago, you maybe paid I don't know, but a lot of money to get one page in El Marca, and now I'm I'm happy to see that, because I'm preparing these presentations for the clients, and when you are preparing the content that you will offer to the client, you see that nothing has changed. I mean, what we are offering now, it's like a page in El Marca, because we make the content for our followers on stories. That we make stories to give the information that we are not sharing as a post. And what we are offering is that in the middle of those stories, you have like a promo in the middle of them. And this is like a page in the newspaper, because you're reading the newspaper, and in the middle you have a page that is a promo. So it's funny to see that. So right now, the ways that we have is true that I told you, and a group of investors that that came in the project recently.
And you were mentioning, how the fact that you were able to involve DJ Mario, who, by the way, he was a speaker at World Football Summit last year. And interesting conversation about, the way that media was actually changing. Anyway, okay, you get DJ Mario, you get connection from the fans, but let's flip that around. How did you convince him to join? Why was he interested?
It was very easy, because before being post United, also um, we were also managers of some influencers, and one of the influencers was DJ Mario. So when we spoke with him, we told him the idea, and since the beginning it was like, I mean, uh, I think that this could work. Let's try it. The thing was that in the starting of the project, it was difficult. I mean, you had to get followers from nowhere. So we started like creating content organically, with nothing from paid, nothing from followers buying, nothing. So so this was super difficult at the beginning, and we asked Mario, as one of the partners from the project, to start doing content together, like giveaways or these kind of things, because we were sure that if people watched us, they would follow us. We knew that if people see that this exists, they will like to follow that. So Mario made a giveaway on his Instagram, and one of the requirements was following Post United. And I remember that day, because we were like 20k followers, and Mario made this post, and suddenly in 2 days, 50k new followers. So wow. And it was a challenge for us, because now we had people watching us, so we had to make the best content possible. So this was how we convinced Mario. But honestly, it was super easy, because um it's the best person to join in a project like this, because he know exactly what people want. So it was very easy.
But as you said, that elevates the pressure because now everything, I mean, you have many more eyeballs looking at what you guys are doing, no? That's interesting. But to your point, I think you cannot, I mean, you still need to give credit to yourself because as we were mentioning at the beginning of the conversation, you had a good product that people were interested in. If you didn't have that, first, probably DJ Mario wasn't going to get involved, because I'm assuming DJ Mario gets pitches like that, countless of them. And second, there was already traction that you guys had. And I think what really happened is that this helped you grow exponentially, but not get it off the ground. And I think, the base was there, the foundation was there. So congratulations on that as well. So other than, using his, DJ Mario's platform to grow, you said at the beginning, you were able to grow organically, avoiding any type of paid model to grow. So, but that, if you think about it, that's very tough to do, and especially on YouTube. So, I don't know, are there any frameworks, tactics, any tips? What can you share about that? Because I'm sure the audience is wondering how that happened.
Well, one of the keys that nobody thinks when they start a project on social media, because people tend to think, I have this idea that I'm sure that people will love it, and I'm sure that it's so good, that idea, that everybody will see it. Well, this won't happen from the first day. This is a work of many months and maybe years. So the thing that you need to have to create something like this is being constant, because sometimes there are people with super good ideas, and with ideas that can be crazy in amount of followers, but they just end like nothing, because they don't have this constant. And it's like they start 1 month and they see that they are not getting the followers or the likes, so they decide to stop doing that. So when we started the project, this happened a lot, that nobody, when they started something like this on social media, it was very difficult at that moment to grow followers. The key was to being constant, being constant, keep doing the content. And one day you make a post that is very interesting, and one influencer from that club shares this information because he found it interesting. So this one shares that, another one shares that. So starting this episode, you start growing followers. But it's not like one day you pass. If you don't have a giveaway like the DJ Mario giveaway that we had, you don't have this growth like this. You are growing like this. Maybe there comes one day that you grow a lot, but honestly, this changed, because when we started, you needed to be super constant to have a super good idea. But now, how social platforms are, it's a bit different, because now what I see, from my point of view, it's like social media platforms, they want you to create content, so they want to have you by their side. So now, as you can see, they help a lot to new creators. That when we started that didn't happen. And the social media platform never helped the influencer or the content creator. But now, it's more easy to grow, because if you have this constant now, it's much more easy than when we started. Because nowadays it's like you enter to the feed on Instagram and you don't see the post from the people you follow, because when we started, people only could watch the posts from people that they follow. So if they don't follow you, they will never see you if they don't go to the research page. So now it's like you enter to the feed from Instagram and you find posts from sites that you don't follow, but the social media platform, as they want you as many hours as possible in this social media platform, they put you posts from other pages that you could like. So this made us have a crazy boom in the last months, because this new type of consuming content is super good for the creators, because it's like you know that you're sharing a post, but if it's good, this post will be watched by people that likes this type of content. So this was thanks to TikTok, because TikTok created that crazy feed that you can watch videos from 1 minute to 10 hours of being watching videos. So the other platforms did exactly the same. Instagram did that. Twitter did the same. YouTube is doing now. A so it's like my 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 main tip, it would be to be constant. And if you have one idea, and another one that is very important is to speak the language of that platform. This is very important because if you do content that you just think it's good, I mean, no, you have to follow the steps that the platform is giving you, because the platform gives you tips. Just you can see content that is working. If you consume content from the platform, you can get many ideas from other accounts that are performing well. So if you see some accounts that are doing a specific type of content, editing it in a specific way, you can copy their style and make it your way with your idea of content. So that would be my tip. I don't know if I'm being clear, but that would be my tip.
That was a true content marketing masterclass. I'm going to try to sum it up, and I mean that because I'm trying to kind of like summarize it. Basically, you started off with an idea that you validated with fans that you had, in a close network. Then you go and you see that there's a gap in the market. You saw 433 doing things in other markets, but you saw that in Spain this doesn't happen. Fine. So you start scaling. And then you didn't say no. And then I just went for the influencer. No. You said, and that's the key lesson here. And I've heard it from other experts in the matter: consistency. You start a brand is built on consistency. I'm a true believer of that. And then obviously you get that. I don't want to say it's good luck because it wasn't good luck, but then you get that element of DJ Mario coming in, and then you grow exponentially. But you had a base, but then there's also the thing of you have to be adaptable because the algorithm changes, the market changes, the formats change.
Yeah, that lag, because in everything that you do in life, you need that piece of luck, because that's what I was saying. But the base is the constancy, because if you have this constancy, you will find one day this piece of luck. But if you start like this and you stop doing this, you will never see what was there. So this is very important, because it's in football is the same. I mean, there are players that are playing the third or fourth division that you are sure that they would be able to play in the first division, but they didn't have that piece of luck. Look at Fermin Lopez, for example, on FC Barcelona, that he was on loan in the third division in Spain, and you see now him playing Champions League, and it was because Xavi didn't had more chances, and he had to take this player because it was the only chance that he had. So this piece of luck, you need it. Because if you are not like this, you will never find it.
No, yeah, I always like to say that you have to work very, very hard to be in the position or the opportunity to be lucky.
Exactly.
So that's kind of like, I think that kind of sums it up.
Of course, there's people that they will do this, and the second day they will have the piece of luck and they will be here.
Mhm.
But that doesn't have to affect you, because here in Spain we tend to say, this guy had luck and started the one day, and the next day somebody helped him and made him be here. Well, he had this luck. Maybe you have it in 8 months, but you can have it also.
Right, exactly. At the end of the day, I mean, that's kind of like, that's the main lesson from this. And I want to thank you, because I think those who listen to this episode are going to learn a lot from that. Let's see, just a couple of questions on this section, and then I just want to go, because I think you also have very valuable lessons about entrepreneurship. But the entire industry is talking about how hard it is to engage the young fan, to monetize from them. It's difficult to create that emotional connection. So imagine yourself being in a room full of football industry leaders. So you're talking in front of executives from clubs, from brands related to sports. It's kind of like a panel at the World Football Summit. Let's put it like that. Okay. And you're giving advice on how to engage and connect with the younger fan. So, in a very short sentence or 2 sentences, 3 sentences, what would you say to them? What's the secret?
That they are not silly. I mean, that's the resume from everything, because people tend to think that people that is in social media, they are, this is a super small resume, but they tend to think that they are not intelligent, because they don't read, because they don't have this knowledge that people from other generations have, because it was another generation. But they consume content, they watch documentaries, they watch films, they watch series, that it's not reading, but it's cultivating your brain. So when you tend to think that they are not that intelligent, uh, than newspaper readers or something like this, um, you will never find this connection. So you just have to treat them the way they want to be treated. Like, if they want to see a post on Instagram in the style of Instagram, don't give them a newspaper screenshot. You know, give them a post in their style. and and the first days you will do things that are really bad, and they will don't connect to the audience. But I'm sure that if you keep finding, and of course there's another that is very important, that I think that they have to get helped more, uh, by new creators and new pages, because one of the main problems that we had here in Spain, and that the radio and the television had, is that since the beginning of the eruption from influencers, there was a lot of bad moods, and I don't know how to say it, like, they always try to push influencers and not get helped by them. So the thing is that they created that division between influencer and television and radio. And with this, they only achieved that followers from this influencer will never watch your program, because these influencers tell this program treat you like this. And by the sentence that I said, to finish, from don't treat them like if they were silly, is that this in the past worked, because you could do whatever you want, because you didn't have nobody judging you. But now, if you do like a, a titular, a headline. I was saying it in Catalan, but if you like a headline super fake, that then you enter to that headline and it's nothing that you read in the headline, these people will get angry with you, and they will see this same news that you are telling. They will see the same news in another newspaper or on Twitter or on Instagram. They will read it and they will say this was completely fake. So now you have a lot of ways to prove that the content is real. So it's like, it doesn't make sense to treat them like if they were silly. So this is the change.
Yeah, I agree. Agree. Don't use clickbait. That's not going to work. And I like your messages. I mean, at the end of the day, it's first, really understand the audience that you're listening to, and they're probably more intelligent than you think. And also, the word key, or the key word for me there, is collaboration. When you work with influencers, don't let them create, let them be a partner. Don't use them as a tool, but more than a partner, really, and collaboration. No? And in terms of content, I honestly cannot let you go without asking about artificial intelligence. How do you see that evolving? Because that's just going to make the creation of content, or the access to create content, I would say, easier. But I would say also that it's really going to challenge those of you that are good at it to really keep being unique. So how do you see the landscape? Very briefly, again.
By myself, by Post United side, that wouldn't be a problem, and it would be even better, because you just need an artificial intelligence to create your content. So that would be easier for us. But I don't like it because we are changing persons for machines. This is like the traditional comment that, oh, machines one day, and there are no person in the supermarket working. But it's kind of like this, because it's like, uh, I like to see some content, and to feel how the person is explaining me the new, and to feel that somebody is explaining it to me. And in the future, it's like nobody will think, because it's like we are creating a lot of things to make you not think anymore. So it's like now you get the phone and you say, I want you to remind me that in 10 minutes I want to do that. And you don't have to think anything. So it's super scary, and I don't like it, because I feel like that shouldn't be like this. And also it's scary because you see things that you can make. Like in the past months, there was a video in the social media from Kylian Mbappe that Messi was better than Cristiano, and that he always was lying about that. And I saw that video, and I really thought that it was Mbappe saying that video. And no, it was artificial intelligence. So it's like, it's super scary, because you can do things that, of course, if you do it in the right way, it's good. But if you do it in the wrong way, this could be very dangerous.
It's taking fake news to another level, I would say.
Exactly. That's it. Is next level. I mean, if tomorrow somebody shares a video of Mourinho saying, I hate Real Madrid, Real Madrid fans maybe believe this video, and there's no way, because Mourinho can say, no, it wasn't me, but they can see the video, and you see the video, and it's really Mourinho saying that. So, well, it's very scary.
It is gonna be. Let's call it interesting. Let's see what happens. You know, um, Steve, I want to be very respectful of your time, because in a few minutes you have a game to watch, and I don't want you to miss that. But I mean, to me, and I honestly mean this. You're an example of a true entrepreneur, someone that had an idea, believed in it, pushed through it, even getting an initial rejection from your father, which is one of the strongest rejections you can face. But you still pushed through that. So again, I honestly mean that. Congratulations. So, and then you convinced him, and he's now a big supporter of the initiative. So yeah, that's amazing. So a lot of the people that listen to this podcast are sport entrepreneurs. So I want to understand, I mean, if you had any form of advice or any skills that you believe that entrepreneurs should have, I mean, I don't know, what would you share with aspiring sport entrepreneurs about your experience?
I would always say that I would always want to share that they don't have to care anything about what other people say. I mean, they just have to care about what their real people tells them, like your family. And because if you have an idea and you want to do it, and you say that you want to do it, your real friends or your real family will tell you, do it. But the thing is that there are a lot of people that tries to push you when you start something. So just to try to build something in yourself, that to make that this doesn't affect you, but because it's with everything. I have friends that they are starting, for example, to be like training managers for gym, and they make content on the social media, and their friend is like, haha, what are you doing? This is silly, this is whatever. So so you have to try to find a way that this doesn't affect you, because if you are sure, and if you trust in yourself that this will work, you don't have to care about nobody. Then it doesn't work. It didn't work. It doesn't happen anything. I mean, there's no problem. All of us try things, and sometimes doesn't work. But the most important thing is to don't get affected by other opinions, if they are not to help you. I mean, if someone tells you, I think that you could do this to improve. Of course, listen to that, but that would be my key tip in this way. And also, I've been very lucky because in in the in the walk to get to the to where we are at Post United, I found people super interesting that helped me a lot because once you leave this bad side of people laughing on you and saying that this is what you're doing will never work in the when you're starting to make content and when you enter to this world, you can find people that can help you a lot. And one of the persons that I found in the when I was starting to create content on social media, I had a boss on a startup that I was working that was called Going, called David Riudor. That this guy helped me a lot because he was like 2 years more than me, and he got me for his startup. And the way he worked and the way he did the things and the way he helped the other people to do things, and you see a kind of knowledge that made me learn a lot from him and from many people to do my things, because this was a completely different side. This was a startup from saving money. So I took it to my side, that is football, and that helped me a lot.
Thank you for that detailed answer, and I couldn't agree more. In a way, it kind of reminds me that last point that you were mentioning of a conversation I had with Erika Montemor from FIFA, and she was mentioning the importance of sponsors and mentors. Which the mentor, probably David was a mentor for you, and kind of like showing you how to get to the door of opportunity, and then you need a sponsor to actually support you from behind. So yeah, thank you, Steve. Just a few rapid fire questions. First off, what are your ambitions for Push United? What's next?
Well, to get the brand and content strategy at the next level and have us as much brands as we have working with us, and to be the number one to keep being the number one in Spain, but to keep for those people that are now reading newspapers, that they know that they have another way to consume the content, that it's also useful and you can combine them. So that's my point, that we can reach as many followers as we can, and keep it like this with this reach that we have now, and to get the branded content to next level.
Nice. And imagine you could travel in time, either backwards or forward. What story would you really like to cover and do a video or something about? You can choose any moment in history that either has happened or that you wish could happen.
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. I would love to talk about the years from Maradona in football. Love to live these years now. Like to see how would it be a player with that quality and that controversy in in social media. So so these are a moment that I would like to know.
I always I think about that. What would have happened if a player like Johan Cruyff or Maradona would have lived in this era? No, it would have been so interesting, and really see the greatness around. Everybody around the world would have enjoyed the greatness. No,
Or best also players that would be crazy to see them in right now. Well, now we have similar players like Jack Grealish that are kind of the same, but
yeah, they got a few. Yeah, true. That's true. um, One last question, Steve. We launched a rebrand at World Football Summit, and one of the claims that we launched to support that rebrand is that, we need a different football industry. So it's actually a claim that summarizes the football you want and the football you need. So I'm going to ask you, in 1 or 2 sentences, how would you define the football that you want or the football you need?
Wow. That's a good one.
And don't take it maybe to football. You can also take it to the world of sports content, sports media, anything related to the sports ecosystem.
I don't know. I want real football, and I want football to be like it's now. That sometimes when you see some teams that they play in a way that it's very desperating if you have them on the other side. But I think that that sometimes we try to put many things to make the football perfect. But I think that football, a good sentence would be that football doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, football doesn't have to be like now that they wanted to do the exactly time of minutes played. Like when the ball goes out, the football stop, either the clock stops, and no, I want football to be like it's now. And if there are small teams that they need to do root football to keep the ball out, to make these kind of things, I like this football, and I don't want to, because now with the technology, with everything, it's like I was watching an Atletico Madrid game, and there was a situation that it was like um it they were checking an offside. They was like, how can you be checking this offside? It's a goal. Leave it like this. So I would like more this kind of football.
Don't take the game away from the game in a way, right?
Exactly.
Make it be more authentic, and it is what it is. That's a good message to end this conversation, Steve. I want to thank you because honestly, you should see my notes here. I have so many of them. You share a lot of good lessons with everybody listening, and I want to thank you for your time. I really wish you the best of luck with Push United. We'll be keep following you from World Football Summit, and hopefully we'll bring you back in a year, and you're gonna be doubling all the results, and you're gonna I don't know, talk to us from Miami because you've set an office there. I don't know. Best of luck, and thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you.
There you have him, Steve Calzada, in what was an awesome conversation about sports content. There were so many takeaways from this one. To me, this was a clear example of how to scale using the 1,000 True Fans concept. Steve developed a loyal community around him, and using their feedback, he started to improve and grow post-United. How can we describe what the young football fan wants? Well, first, they want, call it neutral, objective content. Second, leverage the power of storytelling. And third, they want to get as close to the game as possible, and the role of behind-the-scenes content is key for this to happen. I love some of the key lessons he has learned from growing post-United, including the value of consistency. That's so underrated, and it's just so important. You have to validate the concept you put out and identifying a gap in the market. You need to adapt to the algorithm and market dynamics among the different platforms. And remember, each social media network has its own context, and you need to adapt to it. Another great conclusion. Remember, you need to work extremely hard to earn the opportunity to be lucky. And how does he define the football he wants? Well, let's go back to authenticity, to actually, love the game we traditionally loved. Did anything else stand out to you? Let us know on social media. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast on your platform of choice and share it with your industry colleagues. Oh, and before we go, remember, if you're ever in Madrid and you're looking for a place to network effectively, share a traditional Spanish snack but with a modern touch, or simply enjoy a relaxing moment for yourself with a delicious sweet pastry to break your day, make sure you visit La Hermosita. You won't miss. I'm not kidding when I tell you that I once bought my wife a small piece of pie for a special occasion and she just loved it. So again, visit La Hermosita, and when you go there, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the World Football Summit podcast. You can find the link to their website on the note of the episode. Remember, you can also subscribe to our weekly newsletter. You can find the link in the show notes as well. Nothing else from my side. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure I did. Have a great rest of your day. and we hope to see you next time.